I don't shave, so we get that out the way now. And if you guys have watched my other videos, you'll know why it's for spiritual reasons, not because I'm lazy, which I kind of am sometimes, but it's for psychic stuff. And also to get it out of the way too, I guess what I would be called physically is a chimera, because throughout my whole body, I have two different shades, if you can see, throughout my whole body, both my limbs, down the side, my sides. It's like I'm two different people, so two different shades. And there's my hairy armpit. But yeah, when I shave, it darkens my skin, like my skin's like super sensitive, and it helps. Since I'm Korean, I don't grow that much hair on my body. As you can see, my eyebrows are like super freaking thin, and I need to get them done professionally. But yeah, and I have chicken wings. Look. Because when I first got sick, I was used to weighing 140, 135 pounds, and then within a year and a half, with all the steroids and all the drugs, I went up to 214 pounds, because it puts you in a pre-metabolic state, which is a pre-diabetic state, which 70 to 80% of all Americans, children, adults are in, but they don't realize, because they only test your sugar levels. They don't test your insulin levels, which your insulin levels are like skyrocketing, trying to compensate for all the sugar that we intake and the high, I'm not going to say bad words. Well, not like my type of bad words, but the words like they don't want you to know about bad words. But one of them is it's a sugar or sweetener that we use, that's used in everything. But it puts you in a pre-metabolic state, or, oh Lord. But yeah, it's basically stressing your liver and your pancreas, and you're going to eventually lead up into diabetes, because your insulin levels are skyrocketing, compensated for all that type of sugar that's in your body, which it's actually foreign. And your body just automatically has to turn it into fat, which has to compete with with the insulin, which then it won't produce fat. It gets crazy. But yeah, this should be my my adult bedtime story outfit. It'll be a robe and a shower cap to cover my hair. I had it and I cut out the inside, and it had like all this fuzzy stuff, and I didn't want to like take it on and off, and it left my hair fuzzy with all this white stuff. So I was like, nah, I'll just leave it off for this time. So whenever I'm going to try to do it, when we have these adult nighttime talks, I'm going to try to do it as instantly as I think of them. So like my OCD-ness, then I won't have to worry about my hair and what I'm wearing and the light, and like, I just won't care. But yeah, I'm just like laying almost all my dirt out there. I can't give you guys everything, because that would just be retarded of me. But like the lights, they give me a headache. And then my hair, I haven't decided what colors. It's going to be plural colors I'm going to do. So you're going to be seeing me messing around with some colors. And then also another thing, if you guys probably already noticed, this started happening, I guess like 9 years ago. I started getting these 2 gray stripes of hair right here, and then the bottom of my sideburns, which is annoying. I don't mind the gray. It's just those hairs do whatever the hell they want. Like my hair will be done, and then you'll just see grays and they don't listen. They don't listen. So yeah, I'm going to color my hair for that reason. But then I'm trying not to damage my hair, because again, if you've watched my other videos, the hair on your body is very, very important. It's an antenna, and plus it helps you to keep, it helps build up negative charges that your body and your cell needs. It helps to promote balance within your system. Yeah. And what else? Oh, yeah, gaining all that weight and all the meds and the sugar, the sweetener that's in everything, that is so toxic, and it destroys your beta cells and your pancreas, which gives you diabetes when that happens. Yeah, so our bodies are like all stressed out. Oh, and then, yeah, I wear the holiest, holy, not like religious holy, but I don't care what kind of clothes I sit around in since I have 3 dogs. And of course, there is shedding. So I wear like compression type of clothing because I found it to be very soothing and comfortable when you have a pain disorder. It feels really nice. So that's what I wear most of the time is like compressive type of clothing, which is perfect, like the yoga clothing. My daughter rags on me. She tells me to get like regular clothing. But who cares? It's not like I have a boyfriend or anything or anybody. I really don't care. I really don't. And the fact that like now, like getting sick and then realizing how nice it was to find balance within myself, and then realizing when other people came around, like how much they would bring me down, like my pain levels would go up, and then I would get migraines around certain people. That's when I started learning about people that like had a lot of mental instability or they lied a lot. It starts giving me a migraine. So yeah, that started teaching me a lot. Or if someone has like really negative thinking or intentions towards me, it starts giving me a migraine. And then if other people start having like a lot of emotional issues or psychological issues, I start mimicking them. So the more I hang around with them, I start catching myself acting like them and then responding exactly like them. Then later on, I'm like, why? Why? I know better. Why? It was just being around them. And then their perspective of things, even if you don't agree, if you start hanging around with them, you start catching yourself like thinking like how they think. It's crazy. So that's when I realized like people do really have an influence on you. Yeah, and I love like lots of tea, just lots of tea. So I'll try to talk about everything and anything. So it'll be the adult bedtime stories or the adult dead time stories, depending on my mood. Some of it will just be funny stuff. Some of it will be interesting, random stuff, or some of it will be triggering to some people. But I'm not targeting anybody and I'm not trying to criticize anybody. It's just information that I get, and then I get bugged and bugged and bugged to relay the information. So I'm trying to learn how to present it, not in a dookie way. And I mean, like my humor, I know a lot of people they get triggered by me because of the things I say, because of my energy. I had to learn that because of my energy. And because the way I say things, I don't mean to be offensive, but like sometimes I don't have tact, because in my mind, I'm not saying it to be mean, I'm saying it to help someone. But then I'm finding out people, no matter how I present it, how I say it, they think I'm being mean or I'm belittling or I'm being egotistical or trying to hurt them in some, which I'm not. Because a lot of the stuff that I do say, it applies to me too, because the message is for me too. And sometimes it's easier to get the message out when I'm not thinking about it, that I'm not thinking it's for me, and I'm thinking it's for someone else. And then when I think about it after a while, I'm like, yeah, that message was for me too. So yeah, and yes, I am single. I've been single for a couple of years now, so like I haven't I haven't had sex in like I'm abstinent. Then I haven't had sex like 5 years now, only because I choose to. Once I started learning more and more about energy, everything influencing everything, and some of the stuff that was like physically making me sick, causing me to act certain ways, and then learning that it was a lot of outside influences, and then learning that people can carry stuff within them, which is it's an energetic type of infection. And so you sit there and people through sex, through having someone as a friend, having them around them all the time, just the more intimate, the more it's a lot easier and faster to transmit these energetic or spiritual type of infections. And some of them are like so like almost impossible to get rid of. So imagine like you're struggling to even find a spiritual person to help you. You can't, and some of the stuff like you'll go to a doctor and they can't figure out why you're sick or why you have these symptoms. And some of the stuff causes you to have physical symptoms. And that shit sucks. When you know you're going through it, you feel it, but there's like no evidence of it. And plus, like, the doctor's not sitting with you 24/7. And then, like me, I'm like really proud. Like, I don't like to walk around looking sickly, having trouble like concentrating, having trouble to like be dressed, do my hair, to walk around. Like, those moments, like the way my dad raised me like a soldier, like, you don't want to ever look weak. And I do have that bad habit. I don't like to ask for help. And when I do, it's like I've tried everything and anything and probably spent a lot of money trying to do it myself and went crazy and was like to the lowest point. And then that's when I'll ask for help. But yeah, I do have that bad problem. I'll try to do it myself. I need to stop doing that. I don't like to ask for help. But yeah, been single by choice. And now I am super, 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 super picky now that I understand what's going on. And then people that are gifted and that are more sensitive have to be more cautious because we are more of a target. And if they can't influence us directly somehow, some way, they'll use outside things to try to influence you. Like, some of them will try to affect your money. They'll try to cause a lot of disruptions in your family, your friends, your vehicle, your water heater. Try to blow that bitch up. Try to blow up your house. Ask me how I know. Then get it fixed, and then have a week later your furnace goes out. Ask me how I know. But yeah, I have weird stuff like that happen, and then know that, like, they want you to think negatively. They want you to be caught up in outside life, so you're just preoccupied. And then if you don't catch it and you don't realize it, there can be times you just think like you're having bad luck or like you did something wrong, when in actuality you did nothing wrong, because it puts you in this infinite loop of like, what. When you've been a good person and you know you've been straight up a good person to everybody and anything and everything, you haven't been wrong to anyone, and actually you pray for everyone and everything, and you're not selfish in not one way whatsoever, which I've been like that way my whole fucking life. My whole life. And I had to learn to start saying no and doing for myself. Because it's the same thing. When you sit there and give so much of yourself where it's a detriment to you and you're miserable, but you play that martyr where you have to, like, I was basically nicknamed the fixer, of course. Any problem you had, any project, I was there with you. I would learn how to do it, figure it out. And then that was the thing. Just do a little bit in front of me, act like you can't, and then I would take over. And everybody knew that. They just had to mention it, and I would take, it didn't even matter how sick I was. I would still try to help and do it no matter what, even though I was miserable and dying inside, like just in so much pain, mental pain, physical pain, my body being out of whack, like everything. But it did help. It slowed me down to appreciate myself every moment, appreciate everything that I could do. I had to be slowed down, because I treated myself like shit. I was like the last one on the totem pole. And then by that time, nobody was around to help me. And then I became very resentful towards everybody because I did so much. I did everything and anything. And then I started resenting myself for allowing it to happen. So it was just this whole cycle of resentment. So toxic. And then that bitterness. But yeah, I don't... Like, people could be so shitty, and all I've learned now is like, just walk away. That's where they need to be. And hurt people. That's all I can do, is just walk away and pray for them, and then keep them at a distance. And depending how severe they are, it's how much of a distance I will keep them at. But there's so much I had to learn. But yeah, I've been single, 4 or 5 years, no sex. And then the last, let's say 2 years, it'll be 2 years I haven't talked to anybody, communicated with anybody. There's been a couple of people who have seen me around. There's been a couple of streams that I used to hang out in, and then when the energy wasn't right, I don't argue. I don't think I just go somewhere else. Where if it's affecting my energy in a negative way, I just go somewhere else, or I just take a lot of long breaks. And that's what I do. My family's used to it. I isolate myself a lot, and I haven't talked to anyone. And even then, even before, I would only talk about superficial things. I wouldn't talk about deep stuff. I wouldn't start any like intimate relationships because, no joke, like I'm exhausted. And then now I understand why. And like in the other videos, I'll go into more detail later on about how they explained to me that the higher your energy field, and the fact you're gifted, you can't be with regular people. You can't be with normal people. That energy makes them act batshit crazy. Just even playing a game, a couple hours with someone, it makes them, like, the energy that you give off, it's just loving yourself and not having negativity in that God energy, that mana. It's like crack. So imagine you just without, that's not me trying to have them like me. Just be wanting just company. That it sounds crazy. It's almost like they fall in love with you instantly. And so if they're a crackhead on love, they don't know it, but they feel it. Like they have to hear you, they have to see you, they have to hang with you, and then they don't want no one to get any of it. They don't want anyone to get the crack. They start acting crazy, and saying crazy stuff, and like, oh God. And I used to have this thing, like if I gamed, and the moment someone would start acting weird like that, like any hints of it, I would just cut them off. Just the typical INFJ. Like I am textbook INFJ. And it took a lot of work, a lot of work for me to get to this point, to have balance in the different aspects of being an INFJ. Because like a dark INFJ, oh my God. That's like almost equivalent of like a sociopath. Because they're so smart. And then the way we think and we analyze everything without even trying. And then we see train wrecks before they happen because our brain's already working it out. Like the way you look, the way you talk, the things you say, the way you respond, the way you say things, the things you choose to say. Like automatically in my head, I can see like people's lives. And then if I like them in some way, I can actually play out the relationship that I would have with them. And it's crazy. Like I could like someone, then automatically it's like I don't like them. And sometimes that scares me because it's almost like my brain is like a computer. Like I can rationalize things with facts and then change the human part of me. And I think if I wasn't in this physical body, it would almost be instant, like a computer. Like I would figure out the facts, the statistics, the probability of this happening, that happening. It'll go this way, that way. Then I'll be like, nope. And I'll break that down more later, because when it goes through that, it's like certain parts of it, other people do it too. But when I break it down, you're like, oh yeah, I do that. That is kind of fucking shitty. But it's just facts. One behavior leading to another behavior, causing you to act a certain way. You're not realizing the real reason why you're doing it that way. And you do affect people. And I had to learn that. So when people would start having that, acting a certain way, I knew to cut it off. There was nothing I could say to change it. They had a certain thought, a certain set in their mind, and it was because they were drugged by me. And that's why I know not to use my intentions to make people like me, because it gets really, really bad. So I don't do that. But yeah, I haven't talked to anybody in 2 years. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of rumors about me, but I would say like most of them are false, because I haven't talked to anybody. But I do primarily just sit here and talk with my guides, meditate, channel, but I do talk out loud a lot. I do write down a lot of things. I'm intending to write a book, which will be very interesting. I guess I should stop this video here because it'll cut off, and then I'll start another one.